All right, our streaming is started. Also, I want to remind everybody we do have a noon webinar today. I'm going to go over the three major setups we use to trade the open. Here's the link if you want to come to today's webinar at noon.
Hegseth says the number could move when asked about the $200 billion request, again in response to going to Congress for money for the Iran war.
Okay. All right, folks. So let's take a look at oil. CL 0526 is the current contract. So what's oil been doing over the past day? If we look at a 30-minute chart, you have quite a lot of chop on oil. It was quite bullish yesterday, and today it's kind of a choppy mess. All right. Oil is kind of a choppy mess right now. Now the euro did a nice magnet. The euro just did a beautiful magnet. Let me put our oil open. I'll trade the oil breakout this morning. I'll give it a shot. So I'm going to right click our breakout trade. I'll find the template for our oil breakout. Oil new open, we call it, I believe. I'm going to right click it and date it today,
U.S. Interior Secretary
the
Burgum says
19th,
the Jones Act waiver is going to help lower prices.
and load it.
So
All right.
Burgum currently speaking on
So
Fox Business.
we have an oil breakout with a 15 bracket. Position 1's a 1, position 2's a 1, target of 8 on position 1, target of 20 on number 2. Stop is 25 at the moment. And BE, if target 1, stop move. BE, break even. Right now the time is set to 0. We're going to trigger at 8:59:59. I'm going to leave it on sim, and it's labeled CL breakout open. And we're going to look at our bracket in sim.
Order submitted.
All right, our bracket. Not too narrow, not too wide, tradable.
Order
That's what we're
canceled.
looking for, is a tradable bracket. Going to right click, put our time to 8:59:59. The bracket's 15. The setup is exactly as I just said it before. Targets of 8 and 20. Stop is 25. The stop possibly can go to 20 today. Normally our stop's been 15 on this report. I'm going to leave it at 25. We'll go with the more volatile market thought. 8 and 20 on the targets. And remember, this is not a vetted trade. This is just oil has been working at the open for the past week and a half. That's all that has motivated us to trade it. We haven't tested this trade. I'm just telling you the truth. And we'll trade it on that account that lost money on the Bank of England report. Try to get that money back. And then we'll also put a reverse continue for oil on the chart. One contract, 25 tick target, 25 tick stop. We'll label it CL reverse continue, and we'll trade that same account. Remember, we're not trading all these setups at the same time. Apply it and OK it. Now on the euro, I'll put a reverse. I'm not really going to put, I'll put a reverse continue on the chart for the euro. All right. But that's not our news setup. So we'll put a reverse continue on the euro. We'll do a 25 tick target. Let's do 35 and 35. 35 target, 35 stop. We'll label it 6E reverse continue. And I'll keep working on that 37 account. This is after oil's open. So it's same account, but oil will be done with oil. So that's our reverse continue. On the euro. All right. Our main setup for the euro is a trap trade for their news. We're trading at 9:15 the ECB refi rate. Okay. They're expected to leave everything the same. We have a trap trade for this particular setup. All right. Right click the chart, click strategies, click trap trade, go down to activation time. We're going to trigger the trade at 9:14:55.
Interior Secretary Burgum says the US and Japan are to discuss deals today and
The
says
stop
stay
is
tuned.
25.
So keep in mind the Trump-Japan PM meeting is
Position
later
1
this
is a
morning at
1, position
11:15
2 is a
a.m. Eastern
1.
Time.
Tier 1 is 18. Tier 2 is 30. The stop is 25. We're going to label it trap 6E. And that will also be in 37. And this is not until 9:15. It's a 9:15 trade. That's our trap trade.
And Interior Secretary
And you want to
Burgum's
make sure
interview
your
on Fox
chart
Business has now ended.
is wide enough to see your cancel outer tier button. Okay? On a trap trade, you want to see the cancel outer tier button. I'm going to put right click, click indicators, net change display. I'm changing from points to ticks just to see what the movement's been from when the futures market opened. And it's only 16 ticks. The euro on a 30-minute chart, it's made highs and lows, and it's back to making highs again. So we can get movement in any direction clearly on the euro today. Right now it's bullish at the moment. It's had a bullish move. Now, this euro trade kind of gets in the way of our market open a little bit. So we'll give the oil trade the old try again.
Spot gold drops 6% as the Iran war fuels a metal sell-off this morning.
So gold's down 6% today. That's unbelievable. So we do have our stream going also.
So OIS curve pricing indicates that investors price in roughly 75% chance of 3/4 point Bank of England rate hikes this year. That's
So I've
about the
got to
same as the
say,
ECB pricing now.
these markets are harder to trade than the pandemic. I thought the pandemic was hard trading. The only great thing is that we didn't have the magnet in the pandemic. Like if you don't want to trade the oil breakout, you could put the magnet on and you could trade oil magnets right now. It's not an unreasonable approach either.
The Nasdaq 100 futures fall to a session low in the pre-market, down 0.8% now. S&P 500 futures extending drop to 0.7% now as well.
I'm just sitting here thinking that how unsafe our government has made the world, and it's really horrible. That's what I was thinking about. All right, we've got oil on the left. Now, if you wanted to trade magnets on oil, you could put a magnet on oil, right click, strategy, click magnet, high of day, low of day. Let's say you're just going to trade one contract for if it gets to the high or it gets to the low. Position size 1 is a 1. The target stays at -3. And choose your stop. So let's say you use a 30 on your stop for the magnet. Then you scroll down. You don't have to change anything else. Always put a reverse continuation on your chart, and you can use the reverse continuation to do all your trading. It's the easiest way to trade. You can also trade within the magnet, but sometimes you might want a separate reverse continue. You might want independent control of the reverse continue. It's really also ease of use. So I would label this CL magnet. Everything goes on the same chart, the same account. Now I'm not really trading the magnet at the moment. I'm just looking at signals at the moment because we have a breakout that we're trading. So there's a low entry. Should oil get down to the low, it's pretty darn far away from the low. Okay, if it breaks 60, then entering on the short side might make a whole heck of a lot of sense. On the upside, if it breaks 99, entering on the upside makes a lot of sense. Those are pretty good automatic entries today just by fluke. You can also trade the VWAP. Now, I want to tell everybody there's going to be an updated version on the magnet probably later today. Everybody wants to go to version 19. 19. We're on 16 now. 19. We found something that wasn't working and fixed it right away. And now all the targeting is working properly as expected. Everything. So I'm going to put the new version up. The VWAP is probably, it's still, look how far it is away though. The VWAP is 75 ticks away from where we are now. That's a lot. That's a lot. So we're just waiting at the moment for our oil open breakout, right? Oil open breakout. We've been trading it for the past 2 weeks, and it's been working pretty well. That's why we're doing it. It's not an official trade that we're going to do every single day. If we're here, I'm doing it while it continues to work. Okay? If it continues to work, why not do it? By the way, everybody, make sure that when you check your charts, you right-click your chart, click Data Series, and make sure your trading hours are on Use Instrument Settings. That's what they should be set for. Use Instrument Settings. Okay? And then after this oil event, we'll get ready for the trap trade on the ECB refi rate. And get ready for the open. All right, 30 seconds till the open. Now, if there's no burst,
The effective Fed fund rate was unchanged at
then I would not
3.64% for
trade it,
March 18th.
right? I think there will be a burst and a fill. If there isn't, then I would probably cancel it. But we haven't had that for 2 weeks now almost. So our bracket's going to show up in a few seconds.
Order submitted.
Here's our bracket.
Order submitted.
There's our
Order
fill. Hit
filled.
the first target.
Order filled.
Hit the first target. And then it pulled back for break even on the second target. So that was an 8-tick winner. It's winning every morning, this trade. Every morning. Now, is short the right direction? I'm not that interested in scalping oil this morning, okay? And it's partly because we have a million other things to do. So I'm going to take my small winner on that trade, take my small winner, and we're going to move on to something else. So I'm going to remove my oil setups, all right? CL magnet, done. CL reverse continue, done. CL breakout, done. I'm going to remove them. Right click, remove. Oil reverse continue, remove. CL reverse continue, remove. And I'm going to change my chart. All right. I'm going to put the 6E on the left because now we have the ECB refi rate. 6E 0626. All right. That's first things first. So we have a reverse continue set up for the 6E. So we'll do a reverse continue and we'll do a 30 tick target and a 30 tick stop. All right. Reverse continue, 30 tick target, 30 stop. Label it 6E. Reverse continue. I used a small e. I'll show you why. We're trading it on account 37. Apply it. Okay it. Small e. I'm going to get rid of my right chart setups. I don't need those. I'm doing them over right now. So we have our reverse continue on the euro. And now I'm setting up our official trap trade. All right. This is the news we're looking at 9:15. ECB refi rate, their interest rate decision, deposit rate. Okay, no one's anticipating a change in their rates today. And then here's our trap trade setup. And I prefer the trap to the breakout on this report. So we're going to click trap trade. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. We're going to activate 9:14:55. Okay, it's a 9:15 event. Strange time event. Our stop is 20. It should be 25. All right, let's use a 25 on the stop. No, it is a 25. It is 25 on the trap, 25. Tiers of 18 and 30. Tier 1, 18. Tier 2 is 30. We're going to label it trap 6E, right? And we're back in that same account. We're trying to build this account back. We just made a few bucks on oil. The account's not profitable yet, but that's what we're trying to do. Way to go, Ray. Way to go, Ray. 18 and 30 on the tiers.
Gold extends decline, falling over 6% now. It's at around
914.55.
$4,514 an
25 on
ounce.
the stop. Okay, it's a very simple trap trade. And choose the account you're trading it in. And make sure that your chart trader is on that account. All right. Net change display indicator. I'm going to put that on ticks on the euro. And I think I would prefer if price goes down first and puts us in long on the euro. It looks like the upside looks good on the euro at the moment. But we'll see. It has been up and down. We did notice it's been up and down on the news. So we have our trap trade set up. When you turn it on, make sure you can see your cancel button. Cancel outer tier. It's very important. Make your chart wide enough so you can see the cancel outer tier button. All right. On the right, middle chart, I'm going to go now to our
In 10 minutes
YM.
time now,
We're
at
going back to
9:15
our
a.m.
normal
Eastern time.
open now.
At the next rate decision for the day, it's the ECB rate decision.
YM
So the forecast for the deposit rate
0627.
is for no change at 2%. Interest rate
26, sorry.
forecast for no change at
YM
2.15%. We also get the ECB rate
0626.
statement with this as well.
YM making new lows. The
So
market's
ahead of this, just looking at a note
not
from
very
Goldman
bullish
Sachs,
today.
they note that lower growth, higher inflation from the conflict in Iran. They
Our
say the
government
ECB officials
has
broadly concurred
pretty
that
much
higher energy
destroyed
prices
everything that we know.
represented a negative
The
supply
world is
shock for
being
Europe.
destroyed.
Members on the
The
governing
stock
council
market
expressed
is being
particular attention to
decimated.
the magnitude and persistence of the
Was
energy
this all
price increase,
necessary?
but cautioned that it was too early and that the situation was too volatile to draw reliable conclusions.
YM,
Policymakers also
first thing
focused
I'm
on
going to
the
put
risks of
on
a second
is a
round effects
YM
from the
reverse
increase in energy prices.
continuation.
In that respect, Goldman Sachs say that the executive board member Schnabel stated that
YM
while the
reverse
2022
continue,
inflation surge had left certain scars,
and we'll
the
do
stance of
one
fiscal and
position,
monetary
a
policies were less
35 tick target
expansionary
with
now.
a
So
35
they say
tick
there's no
stop.
rush to change policy, but risks now are toward hikes. Most policymakers stated that the
YM
ECB
reverse
should keep a
continue.
cool head and would avoid hasty conclusions and was in no rush to change policy. Bundesbank President and ECB's
And I'm going to
Nagel
put it in the
therefore backed
account
a
that's like
wait-and-see approach
$80
for the
away
time
from being
being.
funded.
That said, ECB's President Lagarde and
All
other
right.
officials stressed that the governing council would
And
do
that's going to be
everything
my
necessary to
YM
keep inflation under
reverse
control.
continue.
In that regard, some policymakers, such as Muller
And I'll
and
put my
also
YM
Casimir,
magnet on
suggested that
this chart
risks were
also.
now
This is
skewed
not a
towards rate
great
hikes
magnet
and
morning
that
on the
the
YM.
next increase could come earlier
Now,
than
everybody
anticipated.
trades everything differently, but for
To keep in
me,
mind today, we have seen ECB rate
when you're
hike bets
making
being
high
boosted, though
over and
bets for
over and
this
over and
meeting
over and
coming up
over,
are still
lows
looking
over
for
and
no
over and over
change.
and over, I only like the first or second low as the magnet. I don't like low number 5, low number 6, low number 7. That was not the original intent of the magnet. Usually, the first or second test of a level is the best. These markets are so bearish and so bullish at times, they're throwing all of our normal thinking to the wind. I don't want to tell Nitin not to use um, magnets over and over because he's making money on them. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Um, we in this together. I've never heard of that before. Put it into Chat GPT or Google. I've never seen that error before. Rewires a calculate on each tick. I never saw it. So throw it into Google and see what it tells you. Or Chat GPT. So we have a YM reverse continue. We're going to throw a YM magnet on the chart today. But like I said, right now we're not really perfectly set up for a high of day magnet, low of day because we're at the lows. However, we can
Trump
change
and
that in a
Japan's
second. So
Takaichi are
we'll
set to announce a $40 billion
do our
US reactor project.
50 tick
So again,
target.
Trump and Japan's PM are
I'm going
meeting
to
later
turn
this
it.
morning at
Magnet
11:15
trade
a.m. Eastern
enabled
Time.
will be off initially. One position, a 50 target. All right. Leaving everything else pretty much default.
China's
I'm going to
foreign
do
minister
my
to their
trading
UK
from the
counterpart
reverse
says that China
continue.
and the UK should step up communication and do
Make
things
sure you
conducive to
label the
peace.
magnet YM. And I'm trading it in that account that's like $100 away from being funded. So that's number 32. So we have a reverse continue and a magnet on the YM at the moment. Now, maybe these past couple of mornings are a good day to try our range trade on the YM if we don't get a magnet around the open. We certainly could try it.
So in 5 minutes time now at 9:15
Well,
a.m.
I've got
Eastern
so
Time,
much
we
going
see the
on
release of the US,
with all these trades.
the
I might just leave
ECB
it the way
deposit
it
rate,
is at
where
the
the
moment.
forecast is
Let's
for
just
no
watch for a
change from the
minute.
prior
We
2%.
still have
The
our
interest rate
RTY
forecast for no
setups.
change on the prior 2.15%. With this, we also see the release of the ECB rate statement.
So I'm going to change this chart to our RTY chart. RTY 0626. I'm keeping an eye on the BOE, ECB. All right, RTY. Put our reverse continue on. Click News Trader. Change the breakout to reverse continue. One position, 35 target, 35 stop. And we'll call that RTY reverse continuation. And I think I'll trade the RTY in my funded account at the open. RTY has been doing well. Yesterday I did a lot of damage to my funded account, and I was scalping at the end of the day, got caught in an earnings trade that saved the account. I was on the verge of blowing the account up, and it saved me. Micron's earnings, which we don't trade, burst the NQ and saved my account yesterday. Very honestly. Apply it, okay it. So we have an RTY reverse continue. Everybody understand a reverse continue is a discretionary trade. You only take when you think you want to. And then we also have our RTY opening range trade. We have a template for it. So I'll add another strategy to the chart, News Trader. I'll go down to templates and load my RTY market open. Find the template, date it for today. Right click it, date it today. Today is the 19th. Load it. It's a range trade. We start the range at 925. We end the range at 930. 6
UK
ticks above the
2-year rate
range,
swaps
6 ticks
rise
below the
39 basis
range.
points on the day.
Show the
The
range
biggest
graphics on
increase
chart.
since September of 2022 mini budget episode.
I've been using a 35 stop. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1.
1 minute remaining
Targets
now.
of
I'll lead
10
with the
and
ECB
20
deposit rate.
with a BE break even on the target 1 stop move, and I'll trade it in my funded account, which is almost back to where it was yesterday. It's down about $300 or $400 from yesterday. Not nearly as bad as it could have been. So the range trade RTY is for the open. Now we have to look at our 6E trap trade. The European news is coming out. Yes, we are on YouTube today, Arthur. Yep, streaming on YouTube. So we in this together. Hang on. Are you saying the error's still there?
10
Here comes
seconds.
our trap.
Order submitted.
Okay. I don't think we're going to get a move. Let's see if I'm wrong. Oh, no, maybe we are.
No change, no change. Deposit rate unchanged at 2% as expected.
Now,
Interest
the
rates,
original
no
move
change,
was
no change.
up.
Rates remaining
I will
unchanged
not
at
let it go
2.15%.
down and fill me long. If
So
it
looking to
continues
the
up and
ECB
fills me
statement now, they
short,
say that
I'll
they're determined to
accept
ensure that
that
inflation
trade.
stabilizes at the 2%
But I
target in the
won't
medium term.
accept a
They
move
note the war
down
in the
and a
Middle
fill
East has
long
made the
because the
outlook
original
significantly more
move on the
uncertain,
news
creating upside risks
was
for
up.
inflation and
If
downside risks for
if our
economic growth.
tier was just
The
too
ECB are not
small
pre-committing to a
because the
particular
news
rate
didn't
path,
move much,
and they say they're to
that's
keep the
what
three
we
ECB
have to
rates
accept.
unchanged. ECB is closely monitoring the situation, and
That's
its
what it looks
data-dependent
like.
approach will help it set
All
monetary
right.
policy as
It looks
appropriate.
like our
It says
tiers
new
just
ECB
were
staff
not big
projections
enough.
exceptionally incorporate information up to 11th of March, a later cutoff
Normally
date
we
than
wait a
usual.
minute
ECB
on
say that
most trap
inflation has been
trades,
revised up
but
compared
this
with December
trade,
projections, especially for
I'm
this
trying to
year.
hang in for a
ECB
minute.
say inflation
So I would
excluding energy
cancel
and
the
food
trap.
projected at an
Cancel the
average
trap.
Order
2.3% this year,
Now,
canceled.
2.2%
we
next
have
year, and
noticed on this
2.1% in
report
2028.
that it's
They
been
say this is
moving
also higher
rather
than the path in the
small.
December projections,
And
mainly
that's
owing to higher
life. I
energy
mean, our
prices
trap
feeding
is
into
very
inflation,
small.
excluding energy and
18
food.
ticks is
ECB
not
say that
very
staff
big.
expect economic
It's
growth
just
to
not a
average
very big
0.9% this year,
trap trade. That
1.3%
was our
next year,
tier.
and 1.4%
Okay.
in 2028.
Sometimes you get
ECB say that
reports
in
that
line with the
don't
ECB's
fill.
monetary policy
That's
strategy
normal,
commitment
even
to
in a
incorporate
volatile
risks and
market.
uncertainty into its decision
So
making. The
we're
staff also
done with a
assessed how the
trap
war in the Middle
trade
East
that
could
did
affect
not
economic
fill.
growth
All
and
right.
inflation. They
And
say these
the
scenarios
way
will be
that we
published
do
with the
it
staff
is if
projections on
the
the ECB
original
website.
move
So the
is one
scenario
direction
analysis suggests
and it
that a
doesn't
prolonged
fill, you
disruption
don't
in
wait for the
energy
second direction
in supply of oil
because
and
that's
gas
your
would result in
reversal.
inflation being
You just have
above
to
and
recognize
growth
that
being
your
below the
tiers were
baseline
too
projections.
small.
The ECB will follow a
Okay?
data-dependent and
That's
meeting-by-meeting
important,
approach
an
to
important
determine the
concept
appropriate monetary policy
with the
stance.
trap trade.
The ECB said that, in particular, its interest rate decisions will be based on its assessment of inflation outlook and
So
risks
that's
surrounding it,
important.
in light of the incoming economic and financial data, as well as dynamics of underlying inflation. The ECB
All
say
right.
again they're not pre-committing to a rate path.
YM, we now can.
ECB said that APP and PEPP portfolios are declining at a measured and predictable pace as Eurosystems no longer reinvest
I'm
principal
just
payments
watching the
from
market.
maturing
It's pushing
securities.
up, finally pushing up off the lows. Not
ECB note as well that the economy has shown resilience over the recent
really
quarters.
seeing any, could it be the ECB that's, I just don't believe it's the ECB refi
Euro
rate
seeing
that's causing
lower
that move.
reaction here, not so much of a move, but a little bit of weakness coming
I
through in
don't
the
think
euro
so.
off the back of the ECB decision and statement.
I'm just looking to see if there's any other news that might be causing this up move in the US indexes, and I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything. Now, what you could do is on the YM magnet, uncheck it, and now I could put it on high of day, low of day. I didn't even have to uncheck it. I could have done it through the control panel. High of day, low of day. Apply it and OK it.
So we are seeing the release as well at the same time of a statement, a joint statement from the UK, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Japan on the Strait of Hormuz. So they condemn in the strongest terms the recent attacks by Iran on unarmed commercial vessels in the Gulf.
Now, if the YM should go, I'm definitely not dying
So
to
in the
take a
joint
long
statement, they
trade
express readiness to contribute to the
on the
appropriate efforts
YM
to ensure safe passage through the
above
strait.
600.
Says we'll take other steps to stabilize the
I
energy
might
markets, including
let it
working
fill.
with
I
certain
don't know
producing
that we're
nations
going
to
to get
increase output.
300 ticks away and
And they're
get to the
also
high.
working to
I don't
provide
think it's
support
an
for the most
issue.
affected
But I
nations,
think we could
including
get
through the
back to the
UN and
low
IFIS.
on the magnet sometime during the open. All right. I think it's possible that we could now get a test of the low on the YM magnet. Okay. It's possible. Our sell is 54 and our target's only 42. It's only 12 ticks. It's not a very big target. It's not a very big magnet. You can make your entry. I think it's a sensible entry though, below that previous low. If you think it's really going to test, if you think it's really going to test, I mean, at the moment, something's really pushing these markets up. Let me put the MNQ 0626 on the right. That's our normal market open. Something's going on. I'm not sure what. All right, MNQ,
Short-dated
market open.
Eurozone bond yields dip after the ECB holds rates. German 2-year bond yield last up 11 basis points at 2.551.
We always put a reverse continue on the chart. MNQ, reverse continue. And we do targets of 50, stop of 75 on our scalp. That's our MNQ, reverse continue. And I'll trade that funded. All right. MNQ, reverse continue. And then we'll put our breakout on that we trade in the morning. News trader, double click it, breakout. I'm going to load the template that I have, load. I have a breakout template, MNQ new open. MNQ new open. We'll date it today, right click it, rename it. Today's date, 3/19. Load it. Right now the time's on 0, but it's a 9/29/59 trigger, a 35 bracket.
But will likely not be repeated.
Going to use a 150 stop. $150 stop.
Qatar Energy CEO says 2 out of 14 of their LNG trains and 1 of 2 of their gas to liquid facilities were damaged in attacks.
30 and 100 on the targets is what we use in the morning. All right.
Qatar Energy CEO says
150 on the stop.
12
Break
to 8
even
million
if it hits
tons
the
per
first
year of
target.
LNG for 3 to 5 years.
It's labeled
Around
the
17%
breakout
of
open, and I'm
Qatar's
in my
export
funded
LNG.
account on my breakout open this morning.
Order canceled.
But right now it's set to 0. Let's check the bracket management. But we want it in SIM. We want the account on SIM to test the bracket.
Qatar Energy CEO says we may have to declare force majeure on long-term contracts
Order
for up to
submitted.
5 years
Order
for
canceled.
LNG
It's
supply
quite a
to
bit of
Italy,
volatility
Belgium, Korea,
on the
and China.
NQ. Quite a bit. These are really, really, really difficult markets, you all. I can hear my YouTube stream is like 10 seconds delayed. Looking at that bracket.
Order submitted. Order
Okay, the
canceled.
market will get more volatile as we get closer to the open. 9/29/59 on our trigger. Targets of 30 and 100. I'm going to go for a slightly bigger target this morning. 40 and 125.
Germany weighs a windfall tax as the Iran war drives fuel prices.
Break even if it hits the first target, and my stop is 150. All right. Trading it funded. Make sure your chart trader is on the right account. So I'm going to go through everything and make sure everything's in the right place. YM, we're on the account that's almost funded by about $100. Okay. We have a YM reverse continue and a YM magnet. Now, am I willing to let the YM magnet fill now? I'd rather the YM fill after the open. Now our RTY, we have a 5-minute range trade. That's also funded. All right. And we do have a reverse continue on the RTY. Let's just make sure that's on the right account. So it looks like everything is set up properly. With all this craziness, I've only really taken one trade that got filled, one trade, a bunch of trades that didn't fill. We also have new homes coming up at 10 o'clock. My YM, I was going to add a second position to the magnet. I guess we're so close to the open now, I'll just leave it. All right, so we're just waiting. We're 2 minutes away from the open. I know, Nitin.
1 minute now until we get the market on open imbalance.
Okay, 1 minute. All right, our brackets are going to show up on the MNQ.
10 seconds.
Same thing on the RTY.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order
Market
filled.
on open imbalance.
Order
S&P
Damn,
filled.
I
500 sell
couldn't
side
get my
317
targets
million.
bigger.
Nasdaq
I just
100
couldn't
sell
make my
side 14
targets
million.
bigger.
Dow
Order
30 sell
submitted.
side
Order
75
order
million.
submitted.
DAX 7 sell side 6
I'm
million.
worried about the
Bank of England, Governor
RTY.
Bailey says, I
I
caution
don't
against
want to
strong
use a
conclusions about the
bigger
BOE rate hikes.
target, a
It
bigger
says
stop.
rates are high and demand is relatively
I
soft.
don't want to
No
use a
COVID
bigger
effect.
stop.
The Bank of England is facing a very difficult context to 2022. So that's Bailey saying the Bank of England
The
are facing a very
RTY is
difficult
not going to work.
context to 2022.
I don't think.
So at the opening gate here, US stocks extending full, with the S&P down 1% now. Russell 2000 falls 10% from its intraday record high, but its last down one's fought 1%.
Order filled. Order filled.
RTY hit the first target. I think that's a miracle.
Order filled.
And it wound up being a target one trade. I was so tempted to close the trade flat because look, it's going to go down. It's so negative, and miraculously, it hit the first target for a winner. The YM hit the first target for a winner. It tested the magnet. And the MNQ hit the first two targets for a winner. It was so fast I couldn't even make my target bigger. And I made it bigger today. Turning off the breakout on the MNQ. Turning off the RTY range. That trade's over. That was the miracle trade. The YM magnet, it will now generate signals. So we just passed, I think I'm a couple of dollars short on the funded account. I think I'm a couple of bucks short. $2 short on being funded. $2 short on being funded.
US listed shares of Alibaba
So
fell
with
9.1%
fees,
following the
it's probably a
company
little
meeting
more.
their quarterly
It's probably a
revenue
little more.
estimates in their report this morning.
So I want to take a breather. I want to take a breather. I want to thank everyone on YouTube. We're going to close our YouTube stream. Let me recap real quick.
Wall
We
Street
had
Journal
an
reports that Kuwait
MNQ
suspends
double
operations at two
target
refineries
instant
following
winner,
attacks.
and we made our targets bigger today. We also used a slightly bigger stop. On the YM, we hit our magnet. We had a magnet. It was on before the open, but it was the open that triggered it. And then on the RTY, with all the fear that I had, I thought for sure it was 100% going to be stopped out because it went long, and it hit the first target and then reversed for a small winner. That's just a very small winner. However, it's still a winner. So everything was a winner, and that's the way it was today. So
Wall Street
thanks
Journal
everybody
cited
on
Kuwait
YouTube.
officials
All our
calling two
opens were
refineries
winners this
operation
morning.
suspension.
All right, we are having a webinar on those setups. We're going to teach those
The
setups. So
state-run
if you
Kuwait
want to
Petroleum
learn
has
and
temporarily
you don't know how to
suspended
do them,
operations of
come to
its
the
Rana,
webinar. I'll go
Abdullah,
over
and
them
Ain
again.
Al
All
Amadi
right,
refineries
I'm going to go over
after
them
they
again.
were targeted by drone strikes, according to Kuwaiti
Way to
officials
go,
who
Ray.
responded to the
Let me
matter.
talk to,
KPC was still
hang on
assessing
one
damage
second.
to the
So
facilities.
everybody on YouTube, thank you for joining us today.